Hey everybody, this is Ashley with Publish with Ashley, and I am going to be talking about the number one reason why your books are probably not selling. So if you were interested in learning about that for low content books and how to publish on Amazon, but definitely if your books aren't selling on Amazon, then this is the video for you. All right, everybody, I'm back. This is Ashley with Publish with Ashley. You can check me out at my webpage, publishwithashley.podia.com. It's got lots of freebies and courses and all sorts of fun stuff. But I normally talk about publishing on Amazon, and I love to give you guys some great value. So I've been asked a lot, I wouldn't say a million times, but a lot of times, why aren't my books selling? Like, why aren't they selling? And I have to say, the number one reason, every time I look at people's books, the number one reason is they don't have a target market. You guys know that if you watch my channel, you guys know that I'm huge on finding your target market. Okay, so I wanted to talk about that and talk about like, oh, how do I do that? And I'm going to talk about the rule of three, okay? So why aren't your books selling? It's because you don't have a target market. And you need to apply the rule of three. Okay, so how does this all work? All right, so the rule of three is that you need at least 3 niches and sub-niches to distinguish yourself. Now, if you're advanced, you know, you can put books out there, you've been selling these forever, fantastic. You're probably not watching this. So I assume most of you who are watching this are probably thinking, oh, my books aren't selling, or they're not selling well, or I want them to sell better. How can I just be found organically? Okay, the rule of three is for you then. Okay, 3 niches, sub-niches. Okay, so you're gonna have to go 3 deep. What I normally see is just a broad topic, and then that's it. Okay, and that won't get you anywhere. You will get lost in the mix of everybody else. So what I want you to do for the rule of 3 is focus on 3 things. First, let's talk about the interior. Okay, so start with the interior niche in the sense of, is it a planner? Is it a logbook? Is it, something like that? What exactly is the kind of the interior base? Is it a gratitude journal? What base is that? All right, then what I want you to do is I want you to have the number 2 is the broad focus. Okay, so it's a little bit niche down. So you're going to basically, the broad focus is kind of taking another big niche and putting it together. So logbook, for dog lovers. Okay, so what kind of logbook would a dog lover need? They might need something that is like to track their pet medications or something like that, right? So we're talking 2 kind of broad niches and putting them together. So that's the first. You're going to start with kind of your interior base, what's the basic thing, and then you're going to niche it down a little bit to kind of a broad overall topic. And then, right, rule of 3, you're going to go down 1 deeper and look for a specific target market to focus on. Because if you just have the first 2, I mean, yes, you have an audience you're aiming at, but it's still a really big audience. And if you're just kind of focusing on especially 1 or even down to the 2nd level, then it's kind of like saying, okay, I have a pair of jeans and they're one size fits all. So now I have 2 topics, jeans and they're one size fits all. Yeah, try and sell one size fits all jeans to people. Yeah, no, right? Jeans are like skinny jeans in dark wash with, low cut, high cut, boot cut, all those choices, right? And, skinny jeans in a whitewash, low cut or mid-rise, that finds an audience, okay? And that's pretty darn specific when you really think about how jeans work. Think of your books. Your books aren't any different than jeans. And you're thinking, yes, they are. They're a book. Yeah, but they're a product. Both are products. So when you think of them in that sense, the reason, someone's acid washed skinny jeans that are size 5 are selling is because it's focused on somebody who's a size 5, who wants acid washed skinny jeans, right? So what you need to do is do the same type idea. You're not selling one-size-fits-all books, or, oh, anybody who wants a logbook or anybody who wants an exercise journal. That is a terrible way to do it. It's like saying, here's your one-size-fits-all jeans. So I want you to stop thinking of your products, your books, as babies, okay? They are a product. So start thinking about who would want that product. Who is your target audience? So I'm going to give you a few examples of this. So let's talk about logbooks. Okay, so we have a logbook, and we're going to do our broad niche based on categories, careers. So, okay, I have a whole list of careers, and I pick engineer. Okay, now there's two, that's our broad focus. Logbook, engineer, and now my specific focus. There's a few ways to go on the specific focus. There's like specific type of engineer, mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, or you could go, women engineers, right? So now we have logbook, engineer, and a specific focus, mechanical engineer, and maybe you do mechanical engineers who are women. And, so you can sub-niche down to 4, but at least has to be 3. If you're not looking at 3 categories, you're not looking deep enough. You're not going to find your customer, and your customer sure as heck isn't going to find you. So you need to focus down a little bit, especially if you want organic, to sell organically rather than doing ads. Okay, so let's talk about another one, gratitude journals. So you have a gratitude journal. That's cool. You decide to do, as your broad focus, religious gratitude journals. Great. Now you need your specific focus, okay? So it could be a specific, religion, and it could be for women, right? So, and generally, let's say that most gratitude journals are aimed at women, and those are actually generally the most customers. So creating a cover that would be for a woman would be great. But maybe you find you do some research and you find that in a certain religion, there seems to be like one maybe male-focused gratitude journal, and it's selling really well. Okay, well maybe you want to create a male gratitude journal in that kind of sub niche, because maybe that'll work for you. So research does come into play. Now here's where I want to caution you. This is why you kind of pick your niches and pick down, but then you have to do some research, because you can be too narrow. You don't want to be too narrow with the rule of 3, because if there's only, so let's talk about that religion again and the gratitude journal. So let's say you pick a gratitude journal, religious, and you pick a certain religion. Well, let's say you pick a religion that only has like 100,000 people in the entire world in it. Yeah, your niche is probably too small. So you narrow down and pick your 3, and then you do a little bit of research to see if it's a good idea or not. But that's like the way to start. If you're just starting with 1 or 2 categories, you're still probably not going to get the results you want. So you need to go deeper. I would suggest at least 3 and sometimes 4. Now, you're like, oh, how do I get broad topics? Okay, so interiors, find a list of interiors. Planners, journals. You can like literally Google this stuff, okay? Like types of low content books, okay? And they're going to have you're going to find a list somewhere about, logbooks, planners, exercise journals, notebooks, right? There's going to be all those things. Now, let's do our broad topics. Yet again, Google is your friend. You could Google a list of careers, list of sports, list of hobbies, list of X, right? Just fill in list of and something into Google, and it will give you a list. Awesome, right? Now, your specific focus, you have to think about this. This is where brain power comes in a little bit. You think about who, now you've niched down, who might be that specific focus. It could be women. It could be kids. It could be, whatever. But you've got to focus down. Now, the other thing I want to caution you again is to not be too cavalier. Sorry, I can't come up with a better word. Complacent, maybe that's another good word, about picking your category. So I want to give you this example. Scissor skills for kids ages 3 to 5. You think, oh great, scissor skills, kids, Ages 3 to 5. Yeah, okay, that is 3, and it sounds like it's 3 niches, but it's really not, because who uses scissor skills? It's not adults, so scissor skills for adults, it's probably not a huge thing. That's not going to sell a lot of books. So scissor skills for kids is almost like one category. 3 to 5. Yet again, who is doing scissor skills? Probably 3 to 5-year-olds. So you can have kindergartners or 3 to 5-year-olds or first graders, and that might be 2. Maybe you get 2 out of that. You know, scissor skills for kids, for kindergartners, right? 3 to 5. That's kind of the same thing. And then you've probably got to go 1 lower. So, or maybe 2. Easter for girls, right? So scissor skills for kindergarten girls, Easter themed, right? That would be probably sub-niche enough, because you can't, I mean, those are great keywords, 3 to 5, kindergartners, because people search for those, but that's still probably not niche enough. It's probably not focused enough. When you start adding like Easter for girls, now you start, you know, getting closer to someone's looking for an Easter gift for a girl. Scissor skills might be a great thing for a kindergartner, right? So you can see how some of those would definitely broaden your appeal, but yet still be very specific. Okay, so now I want you to do something. Now you know the rule of 3. You're going to have kind of pick your interior, pick your broad focus, and pick your specific focus, okay? Now what I want you to do is apply that same idea and concept to your title and subtitle. Look to see if your subtitle and title have those words. Do not keyword stuff and put words that don't make any sense. You know who your target market is, right? You have those 3, you know, rule of 3, break it down into 3. Focus your title and subtitle on those type things and words. Okay, now cover, interior. I need you to check your cover and interior. Would your cover and your interior appeal to that specific audience? That takes a little bit of research. You should not make a kid's book that isn't fun and brightly colored, okay? Kids like fun, bright colors. They don't like drab colors. Now let's say you're doing one for girls. Girls like pink and purple. Not to say that girls can't like blues, so maybe you have one that's like blue, purple, and green. I know a lot of girls who like that sort of color scheme. But think about your audience. Think about the cover. Does it talk to that audience? And you can get ideas by looking at other types of books within different niches that, you know, maybe are targeting girls from, you know, kindergarten girls, right? So just look kindergarten girl books and see what colors, what type of things they like. Unicorns are popular. You can put that stuff on the front. And that's what you want to focus on. Okay, so you really have to look at your cover and say, would my target audience like it? Keywords. So the third thing you're going to look at is your keywords. Do the keywords in your back end, those 7 boxes, talk to this specific audience? Do they, are they words that this audience would be searching for in the search bar? And you want to come up with synonyms maybe. You know, I can't think of scissor skills, right? So cutting with scissors, learning to cut with scissors. Those are kind of key, you know, similar keywords, similar ideas that maybe someone wouldn't type in scissor skills. Maybe they'd say, you know, cutting help for kids, or learn how to cut, right? Those sorts of things might be other synonyms. And when you're talking about, you know, logbook, right? Logbook. I can't think of another word for a logbook. But whatever the specific logbook is, the type. And then, you know, planner, scheduler. You just kind of look at synonyms for those words, and those are great things to put in those boxes. But do those keywords focus on, in your keyword boxes, do they focus on your target audience? All right, so I hope this was helpful. Remember, you want to, the reason you're probably not selling anything is your target audience. You don't have one. You think you do, but really you're just trying to sell one-size-fits-all jeans, and it's just not working for you. So focus on your target audience, focus on the rule of 3, and you will do a lot better If you want to check out my website or anything, check out the show notes, and there's my information in there. So thanks so much. I will see you next time.